Sit!
Welcome to the Dynasty Nerds Fantasy Football Podcast, where we discuss Dynasty strategy, rankings, and all things NFL. So get ready to geek out on fantasy football with your host, Rich Dotson.
And welcome to the Dynasty Nerds Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm Rich Dotson. He's Matt O'Hara.
Hey.
He's Garrett Price.
How's it going?
And we are gawking into week 7.
Gawking into it.
Yeah, I'm gawking. I'm like, what is going on around here? All these injuries.
I'm rounding up. This season's basically over.
Basically. Yeah. I saw somebody put on Twitter like yesterday. It's like this season's like running through like a landmine field. Like just hoping to come out unscathed. Like every week it's like the big, like we're losing big time names. Like it's
who'd we lose this week?
Garrett Wilson.
That's right.
Puka Nacua.
Right, Nacua.
Not long, but
not long term, but
yeah.
I mean, with the bye week and this week, you lose Puka for 2 weeks. You're going to lose Garrett Wilson probably for 2 weeks.
Emeka
Buka for at least a couple weeks.
Yeah, who knows?
So yeah, it's just it's
Bill Callahan forever.
Forever.
No longer the head coach. What is going on?
It's all about steady diet. It's all about the war of nutrition.
That's the first. That's the first domino to fall in the coaching.
It is
in the coaching ranks.
It is.
Who's next?
Tennessee.
In your guys' opinion?
I don't know who's next. The Dolphins owner reportedly came out behind the channel saying that he would wait till the end of the season no matter what.
I will wait till the end of the season to fire Mike McDaniel.
I mean, it doesn't really make sense to fire a coach mid-season.
I kind of agree with you. Like, unless the guy's like a terrible cancer, just like wrecking your players, like
Bill Callahan. Yeah.
Like what's the purpose?
Yeah, I don't get it either. Unless you're like
Brian Callahan, right? Because Bill's the
Brian.
Yeah, I'm thinking Bill's dad. Much better.
His dad's actually a great offensive line coach.
Yeah, I wish he would come back to us. Yeah,
come back.
Yeah, unless you want to like tank. Yeah, like you're like, I need as much disarray as possible.
Yeah.
I need Fernando
Mendoza
on my roster.
Went toe to toe with Oregon this week.
Yeah,
came out on top.
Looks good. Solid. Got the size, a little lanky, but
he's what 6'4",
6'5".
He looks taller than 6'4". He's like Joe Flacco-ish.
Yeah, he's got some good size. Very, very live arm. Lots of intriguing qualities.
Any movement skills on that guy?
Enough. Not quite a Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
But he's also not a statue. So
Joe Flacco in his prime.
Yeah, maybe prime Flacco.
That's a Super Bowl caliber quarterback right there.
There it is.
Yeah, and longevity is the key.
He will play forever.
And the name is Fernando Mendoza. Like, what a name.
It's a pretty good name.
Yeah, that is really good. Have
pretty
a lot of fun
solid
with that one. So that's for rookie talk. But you think we're talking Fernando Mendoza, that's so far away. Like week 7 is here. We're halfway through the regular season. This is where we were talking on the live show for the roster rescue. Like, what do you do week 7? Is it time to panic? And I said, like, this week's a good example. Like if you have a couple wins under your belt and you still feel like you have a good solid roster, like you should still stick with it. Try and get in there. Like injuries are going to still pop up. We lost multiple players this week, guys that are surely on teams that are ahead of you, like the Puka Nacuas. Bye weeks, depth, people can handle depth. Like there's easy way you can kind of like crawl your way into the playoffs.
String
and
together some wins
healthy.
here. Yeah. During these bye week and injury, I guess navigate all that kind of stuff, right?
I think it's with the idea of like either you're competing or rebuilding. I think sometimes in Dynasty people get a little bit overly excited about I got to blow it out, time for me to rebuild, sell everybody like so early. When if you sit back, you get in the Dynasty GM, you look in the League Analyzer where you stand. Like hey, like I'm kind of in the middle of here. Like if this guy steps up, this guy comes back, or if I just get in the playoffs, I have a chance. I could be the number 1 team. I could be the number 2 team.
If the Eagles start throwing the ball to A.J. Brown, I could be the number 1 team. It could happen.
If Saquon starts getting holes again and he starts doing things, it's weird. Some of these big time players not doing things. People just not even showing up at times, and other guys is kind of just doing what they do. So today, though, we are talking buys, right? So we're talking about like, hey, who are some guys from any aspect of where your build is, like that I can go out there and get to make my team better? Mm-hmm. Maybe I don't know who your guys' buys are, but like maybe it's short term, maybe it's long term. I think mine fits both,
a little bit of both
qualities. So when we're talking buys, it's always weird. Like what time of the season. Like say if you're rebuilding or you're competing. Like so, if you're competing right now, like a buy, like what's the best value? It's going to be a veteran, right? Like somebody who's got a little bit of age. It's weird because some of the veteran price tags are a little bit pricier lately than I've noticed over the last year.
I've had a hard time buying in certain leagues and trying to get those pieces. Like they've been very, very expensive. So it's tough.
What was the Davante Adams deal that me and you just did?
We did finally work out a deal. Yeah. And it was a second and a third
right, for Davante
Adams.
Yeah. He sent Davante Adams to me in a league where I'm trying to compete. And I only, I got him for second and third. I think that was fair for both sides.
I love it because two reasons. And Davante, in my opinion, is a good buy. One is he's shown no slowing down despite being 31 or 32.
32, I believe. We just talked about him last year.
He has not shown down whatsoever. So I wasn't here, but like if you watch the tape, like the fancy production isn't there, but like he's getting open, he's getting separation consistently. Now the fact that he just lost Puka here as well, they're throwing the ball at extremely high level out there in LA. So I would love to pay a second. I think I offered 2 seconds to somebody in the league literally today. I'm gonna see if they'll accept. But people have been trying to hammer me for Davante for a first. They want a first for him.
And that's the thing. Like there are in other leagues, I'm trying to get Davante Adams, and people are wanting like a first, and it's really hard to pay a first for a 32-year-old player. As good as he is, it's really, really hard to do.
And it'd be different if he was putting up Puka numbers compared to putting
solid.
But the tape is he looks fantastic. He's getting open. The production hasn't really been there.
Correct.
But I expect it to come.
He's like wide receiver. He's in the teens, right?
Low teens. Yeah. I'd have to look and see.
I'll take a look.
Exactly what it is.
The tape says he should be higher, like putting up wide receiver one numbers.
And he has an opportunity to now.
And with Puka, Jordan Winton should slide into Puka's slot here as a guy seeing the most targets. 14?
Yep.
Yeah, so still, nice. I expect him to be wide receiver one when Puka's out.
I'm guessing, I was looking at points per game, so I'm guessing he's a little bit lower because people are starting to have their bye weeks and things like that now, and that kind of stuff.
What's also weird is like there's
13.9 points per game in a PPR. Yep.
That's gonna go up a little bit, I bet, after this week. There's also not that like a bunch of, usually there's like a lot of these older guys that you can go get for like, hey, a couple seconds, a first that don't want, whether it be the running backs. But all the old guys really aren't producing, right? And there's not a lot of, or they're hurt. Like even right now, like how confident do you feel out? Like if you need a running back, like I'm sure if you had Derrick Henry and you wanted to offload it, we felt it was good. Do you really want to go out there and pay any kind of price for Derrick Henry where outside of week one, he's done nothing. The whole defense is banged up, so they're going to come back when Lamar comes back and throw the football.
O-line is in shambles.
Offense line is in shambles. They're targeting Derrick Henry. They're going to have to throw the football. If anything, Zay Flowers is a buy over like a Derrick Henry. Like how many like old running backs right now that are going to be like cheaper that you're going to get outside of like a Rico Dotto, who I've acquired in multiple leagues for second round picks. I feel really comfortable with Rico Dotto. Like, there's not even like a lot of old running backs you can go buy. There's not a lot of older receivers out there that can go there producing. Like the old guys, like the Keenan Allens, Mike Evans are hurt. Like the Chris Godwins are hurt. Tyreek Hill's out for the year.
Right.
Terry McLaurin hasn't played yet. A lot of these guys just aren't giving you enough value to go, hey, this is going to be the difference between making a championship, besides the depth piece. And the price tag hasn't like they still want a second for a guy that you don't even know if you're going to start.
Right. Yeah. I know Taylor Christensen, our editor in one league, we've been going back and forth, and he's trying to sell AJ Brown, and he's trying to sell Derrick Henry and Keenan Allen, and all of them, he wants like a first and a second for AJ Brown. I'm like, I can't. He wants close to a first for Derrick Henry. I'm like, I can't. And so and I understand why he wants that. I can't blame him for wanting, but I'm not going to pay full price for guys at this point in their career. I'll pay full price and then some if the guy's 25 years old and he's in his peak. Like then I'm willing to pay as much, if not more than expected, to get those kind of guys. But when they're at that point in their career, it's really hard to pay the expected price tag, if not more.
AJ Brown's a weird one for me. I mean, we talked about him last week, and I obviously have a pretty high opinion of him still. But he's like one of these guys that how. If I knew that it was a quarterback issue, which was, forcing this kind of downturn in his production, I would feel fine doing a first and a second, or possibly even 2 firsts for a guy like AJ Brown. I believe in him as a talent that much, but it seems like that scheme this year, there's something off in it. I don't know when it's.
That was the Eagles 2 years ago.
I don't know if it's going to get fixed, and there's no way for him to get off of this team right now with the contract that he has. So that's what makes it hard to trade for a guy like AJ Brown, because somebody offered a trade just the other day in another league that they wanted to offload AJ Brown, and it was for 2 firsts. I mean, that was too much. if I had him, that's what I'd want, but I'm not going to pay that either. Similarly to you, because there's just too many unknowns right now for me to feel comfortable at all. I would probably do one.
Yeah, I would do one. I would do one straight up.
I would be like, all right, I can take that gamble that they get this thing figured out this year, and he can be a productive piece in my starting lineup. But right now, I have no idea.
Week to week, I'm just not super confident.
I have no idea what the heck I'm going to get out of a guy like that.
You can't pay 2 first for that. And then we're halfway through the year, so it's kind of cemented how the production is going to go. Nothing's clicking there, even with the Saquon part of it. And then by the time he does figure it out, he's a 29-year-old receiver. Right. You know what I mean?
Unless it's Jalen Hurts to Dallas Goedert. That's the only thing working right now.
That is clicking.
And I mean, the positive is he's a free agent after this year.
Yeah.
And I can't find value.
Goddard is a free agent.
Yeah, he's Goddard. Yeah. And there's leagues where people don't want to pay the price for like high production. I have a league, in our original league, like I've been trying to offload Christian McCaffrey, and people are literally just offering me just the first, and like that's it. And I'm like, and my response is like, you do realize he is the second overall fantasy scorer of all football right now, entering week 7. He's only 0.8 points behind Pat Mahomes. Like, I'm not giving, I'd rather just go ahead and go down. Like, I'm not giving you the ship. You know what I mean? Like, it's just weird. The market in Dynasty right now has just been a weird market.
I've had a hard time making trades this year, much more so than other years.
I've been getting deals.
Do you think it's the injury concern with a guy like Christian McCaffrey? Like if that Achilles or calf or whatever it is, fires back up. I mean, that's what makes it. He's
29.
He's an older running back. He's producing.
But he's playing at an unreal level.
It's short-sighted view. And listen, I understand it's probably like the age, but like this is a guy who could easily play for the next year to 3. Like definitely the way his playing style is in this offense. And to me, it's again, I guess I'll get different. Like to me, that's such a short-sighted view when you're a contender. Like I'm offering these deals to contenders, right? Like it's such a short-sighted view when you're like, hey, this guy will literally make a massive difference to me winning and losing every single Sunday. So I try to win. I know I would like, and the worst part is like I paid essentially I paid a 27 first and a 27 second, which I plan on being like really high second. So like that's another thing. Like, oh, you're offering me 2 late picks. Like I paid higher than what it is. So it's weird. That's why I would say like I would kind of let the mark. For me, my advice for buy and sell right now is like find the right partners, find the right deals, but like you still have time. I think. Yeah. I think that's where you get middle of the season.
Wait for a pressure point. If it's not right, wait for a pressure point.
You're right.
It'll be right.
Because more in the middle of the season right now, people are like they want to be the first offload. They're asking that peak value. But as we inch closer to your trade deadline, inch closer to the playoffs, 2 things are going to happen. One, the demand's going to be higher. People will have more injuries. People will have more need, and they're going to say, "Hey, like I really do need to pay this." They feel like those picks are later. They're willing to pay, give up their first a little bit more. They could see the finish line a little bit closer because they're a little bit nearer to the end. So I would wait, and I'd also like as a seller, like there's no rush to get somebody off your roster at this point. You know, it's okay to be patient a little bit and kind of let the market come to you. So that being said, let's talk about some buys, shall we?
Let's do it.
My first buy, you and I talked about this guy on the Roster Rescue show, and I have come to the point where I am all in. Like I've reached, you know how I get, if you listen to the show for a while, I could easily just jump on a bandwagon. And then when I'm on that wagon, I'm not like tucked in the corner. Like I'm on top of the wagon, hooting, hollering, saying, everybody else get on this wagon as well before you
took your shirt off. You're swinging it over your head.
Yeah. Like a helicopter. So I'm all in on Jaxson Dart. I really am. And I said this on the show, like one thing for me is like that, I know it sounds really silly, but like, I love seeing players out there playing the game and having fun, right? And they're just balling out. And when he high-fived that referee, that was the moment for me, like, outside of the play, we'll get into that, but like that was the moment for me, like, this kid's in it. Like he's having a good time. He's out there slinging the football. Like that's my kind of player. That's the kind of guy I want to have on my roster, right? Like he's like the Baker Mayfield. Like, is there any other quarterback more fun to watch in the NFL right now than Baker Mayfield? The guy who I've been touting for ever, and only my team will let him go.
Only our team.
For me, Jaxson Dart, here's what you get with him. You know, he turns 23 next May, so he's super young. And to me, he's a Daniel Jones plus is how I kind of look at him. And that's not a slight. Daniel Jones right now, I think quarterback 7 overall, somewhere right around there. And what I love about Jaxson Dart is I think it's number one is his rushing ability. That's the number one thing. And it's not just his rushing ability. If you watch the tape, it's how he does it as well. His pocket awareness is awesome. Like his mobility is so good. And we saw that too. We saw that over when he did in college. Over his last 3 games, he's run for 167 yards and 2 touchdowns, just like he did in college, where he averaged 4.4 yards per rush in his 3 years at Ole Miss. And he ran for 1,500 yards and 12 touchdowns. His 167 yards rushing over these last 3 weeks are number 1 amongst all quarterbacks and 20th overall. So overall, 41 of those are yards after contact, and he's had over 50 yards in each game. And we know the statistics. QBs that rush for 500 to 600 yards per season and get about 4 to 5 rushing touchdowns, which he already has 2, are almost guaranteed to be quarterback 1s week in and week out. He's averaging right now, since he took over, he's quarterback 8. He's averaging 20.3 points per game. And he's 2-1 with wins against the Chargers and Eagles. The Eagles have a pretty solid defense out there. So those 20.3 points per game is really what gets me excited about him and how he's doing it behind a team. The offensive line's playing way better than I thought it would. So I won't say behind a bad offensive line, but the weapons he has to throw to right now aren't terrific. Cam Scatterbood has been absolutely terrific for that offense. Helps them respect the run. But throwing to guys like Theo Johnson, Wan'Dale Robinson, Darius Slayton, wait till he gets some leak back and add another weapon to this offense. So for me, when I see a guy who's 22, who offers the mobility of him, right? Again, the number 1 rusher over the last 3 weeks, that is such a crucial point to any running back. It's same reason if you love Drake May, how can you not love what you see out of Jaxson Dart?
I have a complete teardown rebuild team that the one of the few pieces I have was I did trade for Drake May, and then with one of my draft picks, I had 2 first-round picks this year, and I have 3 or 4 next year. One of those 2 was number 10 overall, and I took Jaxson Dart. So I have Dart and May, and I was like, this is so risky, but man, is it looking sweet right now.
It's looking so good, man.
Absolutely.
I have multiple, for the show, I put multiple trade offers out there. I have multiple leagues where I have Josh Allen. I think my second quarterback is Jordan Love.
Okay.
I have multiple leagues out there where I'm offering Josh Allen for my Jaxson Dart plus. I think one of them, it's
what's the plus you're looking for?
One of them's a 27 first that I think should be really high.
Okay.
That's one of them. I have another offer of Dak Prescott and Rashee Rice for Jaxson Dart in a high 27 first. I think it's going to be. One is Josh Allen for Jaxson Dart, Harold Fannin, and something else plus. I just believe. I believe in his rushing ability so much. Where if you can give me that 20 points per game, which is elite, that's quarterback 1 status, and if I can get plus, could he be quarterback 1 overall? I don't know. He has the upside to give you that top 3 quarterback because of his rushing ability that I'm willing to take the risk and get 7 years younger off Josh Allen. And obviously my team structure, so I'm not telling everybody to go out there and do that, but he's my number 1 because listen, right now the hype of town is Drake May. Go ahead and try and go buy Drake May. I would much rather pay the discount on a Jaxson Dart than pay the going price of Drake May, who deserves it, by the way. So for me, I go in the trade finder and I'm looking around and I'm seeing some Superflex tight end premium trades. And these are all recent within the last 4 days. He went for a Mario and Hampton, and the person got Jaxson Dart, a third, and Jack Besh. I have no problem flipping a young quarterback for a young running back. And I know this might sound crazy, a Mario and Hampton for Jaxson Dart, but I liked what I saw enough where I would pay that price. I saw Jaxson Dart in a 26 first for Burrow. I love that deal. I saw
Jameson. I love that one. That one was one of my favorite ones that I saw. You're getting a first and Jaxson Dart.
Yeah, for Burrow.
I love that.
Yeah, any kind of deal I could do that outside of probably Jaden Daniels. I don't know if there's any quarterback I wouldn't take the first plus for Jaxson Dart. I'm trying to think. I don't think there's any.
I think as long as it's I think I would do it on any situation. The only one I might not do is if it's a team that's built really well for the future. They're 28 first. Maybe I wouldn't do that.
No, not 28 first. No,
yeah, it would have to be 26 or 27.
Preferably 27.
And yeah, as long as yeah, as long as it's not 28, I think I would do it.
And I know he threw like 3 picks last week. Still got the fantasy points there done because of his legs. Like, and that's what's nice about it. His legs will offset some of those rookie mistakes. Hasn't thrown for over 220 yards, I think, yet either. But his legs will offset that.
He's doing exactly what Drake May did last year.
Correct.
You know, it's the same type of scenario.
Same story.
It's the same story. They're recycling.
Same bad wide receiver core story. Same
story.
Yes,
like,
but figuring out a way to get it done, like putting the team on his back and making it happen.
And obviously, if you're a win now team, and you need player X like to win, like you don't want to do that. But like even some of the teams where I made this offers with Josh Allen, like I'm a competitor, but like my quarterback too could kind of like, again, having Jordan Love makes me like I'm willing to try and get in there now because I don't think it's going to get cheaper. Because same thing, kind of like the Bo Nix effect, right? Where Bo Nix finished as quarterback 7 last year. Now he ran the ball well, but he threw for 3,800 yards, I think, somewhere around there. So for me, paying the price that I'm seeing, even in Superflex leagues like Burrow and RJ Harvey for Dart in a first, you know, like that little plus, like people that want to prove a name and kind of want to get out from that New York situation, right? Mm-hmm. Like sometimes in Dynasty or in fantasy football, people want to attribute a situation. Like right now, Tennessee, like it's dead to me. Like, but like there's nothing there I like in Tennessee. I love what I see out of Cam Scatterboo and Jaxson Dart. Like this team will get better. Like there will be more weapons around him. He has Malik Neighbors coming back to him.
So you brought up Cam there. It is Jaxson Dart now your highest rated rookie quarterback?
Easily.
Oh yeah, easily.
Right. I just wanted to get that out there.
I'm worried about Cam Ward. I get it. It's still early, and yeah, obviously Brian Callahan wasn't the best situation, but it's exactly what I talked about with Drake May and now with Jaxson Dart. Like those are the kind of guys that take the bad situations and make them not bad. Right now, Cam is not doing that. Like, and I don't even see many glimpses of that. The one win was the most fluky, accidental win, maybe in the history of football that I have seen. Like a guy drops the ball after an 80-yard run, and then
I'm
there's
a Browns fan. I'm seeing way more flicker wins.
Well, but then you also have the interception dropped and then recovered by your own team to then score a touchdown. Like
it was wild.
Those two things back to back. Like it's crazy to see one of those, let alone both of those things happen. So just I don't know. Like things could get better, but easily Jaxson Dart far and away.
I mean, for the last 2 drafts, Cam Ward and Caleb Williams, what we've seen out of those guys in college was a lot of off-script stuff, a lot of stuff that does not typically happen in the NFL. Mm-hmm. And we've seen both of those guys kind of struggle with the transition, I feel like, into the NFL. Conversely, I personally saw some stuff out of Jaxson Dart at Ole Miss. I know that's a goofy offense, but I saw some throws and stuff that I was like, that's a pro throw right there. You know what I mean? So, and he did things, on time, in rhythm. And to me, that's kind of almost a bigger indicator of, hey, this guy could be successful coming out from college.
And part of it too is what coaching system are they going to? Some coaches allow for more of that than other, like a Stefanski system. That's part of the reason Deshaun Watson, amongst many others, but that was one of the reasons he never worked, because the system's not built on that. The system's built on timing. The system's built it's not built on everything else. So I think you're absolutely right with that, Matt.
Yeah, so I'm like, going back to the rookie thing. Like, if I needed a quarterback and we had to redraft today, like I have no problem taking Jaxson Dart pretty dang high. It'd be hard to pass up a guy like Ashton Genty, of course, still, but I mean, I would take him over, Trevor Henderson,
Emeka,
Hampton. I guess it just depends where my team is. Like,
all hard. 3 of those guys look fantastic overall.
But it comes down to like, and that's the thing in Superflex. Sometimes it's so easy to get attracted to the Mecca Buka, the Tet McMillan, Tyler Warren. Let's throw him in the mix for what he's doing out there. Hampton looked great before coming out. Quinshawn Junkins looks great, right? Like for me, it still comes down to who's going to score the most points week in, week out. And if I have a guy out here who's going to score me 20 fantasy points every single week, and that's Jaxson Dart, then that's what interests me. For a guy who's run, and listen, he's played some rough it hasn't been the toughest matchups, even Eagles obviously the best, but like for a guy who's gone out there who did it in college and so far done it in all 3 starts in NFL where he's rushing for over 50 yards. And again, it's not just the stat line, it's how he's done it.
It's the intangibles.
His mobility in the pocket. Yes, he's looked so good. Like I'm all in. Like I have to take that guy. That is the cornerstone franchise. And the fact that he's 22 years old, and yeah, it'd be hard to pass him with a Mecca Buka for sure, or any of those guys. Like that's the definition for a good class. But when you're on the clock, you have to have one or the other. What's harder to find? another receiver that's going to give you a potential wide receiver 1, or a quarterback that's going to give you 20 points per game that's under 25 years old.
Have you updated your quarterback rankings yet?
I did.
Where'd you end up?
I moved Drake May up significantly, by the way.
Did you move him
I
up
moved
as
him, I
well?
think, in my top 12. I moved Jaxson Dart.
Wait, Drake May wasn't in the top 12?
Overall.
Oh, okay.
Where we had him.
Okay. Oh, nice.
I moved Jaxson Dart up. I think I moved Jaxson Dart up as well pretty significantly. I'll look to see where I have him.
I know right now on Keep Trade Cut, Jaxson Dart is quarterback 13, player like 46 or something like that overall. I know my update date is tomorrow. I always update on Wednesdays typically. Jaxson Dart will definitely be going inside my top 36 overall players. I'm trying to figure out like where the line is right now is right around that Joe Burrow range. Like, how do I feel?
So
I feel like Jaxson Dart is already in my top 36.
I have him at 32 currently. I have Drake May at 12 overall.
Nice.
I moved him up there. You and I conversation changed me on that one.
Love it.
But again, I think here's the thing. I think Jaxson Dart's closer than Drake May than I want to realize. I have Jaxson Dart right behind at 30. I have Joe Burrow. At 31, I have Baker Mayfield.
Okay, so we're going to be in a very similar spot then.
So I got
those are
Jaxson
the
Dart
guys
at 32. So it really comes down to like, and I'm thinking about today, like,
37 for me.
So
okay,
you're close.
but you're still right there. Yeah. Absolutely.
Joe Burrow will be 29 next year. He's hurt every other year significantly. Like, do I really, and as good as Joe Burrow is from a talent standpoint, his mobility is not Jaxson Dart's. So you're relying on the passing game early. Like, even looking here now, and I just updated my rankings, like, do I really want.
His passing is elite, and his wide receivers are elite.
100%. Sure. Well, that's why I have him there ahead of time. No, but like, in Dynasty, right? Do I want 22-year-old Jaxson Dart, who doesn't turn 23 until next May, or do I want 29-year-old, next time I'll see him on my team, mid-29-year-old Joe Burrow, who will be closer to 30 than he is
basically
29.
I mean, if you're rounding up,
we're rounding. He's closer to 50 than 0.
Yes.
So for me, I mean, these are the conversations I'm having about Jaxson Dart. And when it comes to a player like that, when it's fresh, hot off the presses, this is where, again, it looks like an overpaid today is underpaid tomorrow. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I'm being aggressive enough. I just now started putting some of these offers on. And unfortunately, some of them are like, I have Baker Mayfield in a lot of leagues, of course. Like, he's probably one of my number one owned players. I have a ton of Baker shares. I feel like if I offered Baker for Jaxson Dart, I would get denied.
Like, maybe it depends on, some
team.
some people are willing to play it a little more risky. Because right now, let's be honest, is because we're in almost an identical boat. Like, I am with you. I am all in on Jaxson Dart. But we are basing this off of 3 NFL games.
3 years. Yeah.
And so there's other people that would say Baker Mayfield has proved it year after year after year after year. I would rather just attach my championship to Baker Mayfield than I would to Jaxson Dart.
And I love him. So that's
sure.
hard. I have emotional attachment to Baker as well. So, and listen, and for anybody to make your statement, for anybody out there listening and watching that says, oh my gosh, this guy's out here talking about buying Jaxson Dart and giving up Josh Allen for Jaxson Dart plus off of 3 games. Like I'm not some guy who's been doing this for like a couple of days, right? Like I pick,
this is your 11, 12?
I target certain guys like this. I like to see what like certain things out of players. And sometimes it's just a high five to a referee that tells me this is it. And for me, I'm willing to go ahead and bank on this one, and I'm on the bandwagon. And it's kind of like when I was president of the Daniel Jones fan club. And a big part of the Daniel Jones fan club, you and I, Matt, talked about this a little time, was like his athletic ability. We're seeing a lot of that now, and how well he ran the football. Like, those running quarterbacks outside of like the league, like the guys that are outliers, like Joe Burrow, are the creme de la creme when it comes to super flex leagues. So
and that's one of the things that was missing with Daniel Jones is he didn't have the moxie that Jaxson Dart has.
Oh yeah,
and it's where the league is going. I mean, more and more of the guys that are the top of the league have got some sort of aspect of running the ball and just escapability or some sort of movement skills.
Yeah,
which is why that was the first question I asked about Fernando.
Yeah,
does he have any sort of movement skills, or is he a 6'4" or 5 statue back there? Because
I'm
not interested in that for my team or my fantasy teams. Like,
he's not going to be a huge winner on the ground where he's getting 400 yards or anything like that.
Yeah.
But you even saw in the Oregon game, like, he rushed for a couple first downs when the pocket broke down and things like that. So it's definitely part of his game, but more like old Mahomes. Like, not this year Mahomes.
Right.
And Mahomes right now, number 1 fantasy overall scorer, mostly because of his rushing ability. He's tripled his rushing output over the last couple of years.
Old Mahomes as a runner, not as in like an overall player.
But that's what I'm saying. No, this year, like Mahomes right now is currently rushing 3 times the rate he was rushing over the last couple of years. A lot of that has to do with no running game, no receivers. Obviously, get Rashee Rice back this week,
huge,
which is going to change.
Did you say no running game? That works in perfect with my buy.
Look at that.
Hey, Nerd Herd, want to tell you about a show that we've been doing live on YouTube where we go over your teams and we talk about how to fix your broken roster. It's called Roster Rescue. We do it live every single Monday at noon Eastern time. And if you want to get a part of that, just head to our Dynasty Nerds homepage, go under the store tab, and you'll find Roster Rescue right there. Perfect opportunity to get your rosters in shape before the season or even in the middle of the season to make sure that you can win a championship.
All right, so Brashard Smith is my buy this week, and I think it has a lot to do with the fact that the Kansas City offense as a whole is kind of looking for somebody, right? I mean, obviously the numbers don't cry out, come and get this guy right now. He's like a must start, but I think they're starting to ramp this guy up a bit. The first 3 games, he basically got nothing. And this past 3 weeks, he's at least gotten targets in the receiving game. He got some carries in week 4 and 1 in week 5, none this past week. But Brashard Smith, there's just in that backfield, you got Isaiah Pacheco. We've talked about this kind of all off season, and then Kareem Hunt. We know exactly what these guys are, and they're not breaking off any big runs. They're going to get what's there. They're tough runners. That they can pound it in, especially Kareem Hunt has like a nose for the end zone. I think there's a spot for these guys on this team, but Andy Reid is searching for a guy that's going to give him a little bit of juice, a little bit of pop. So that, obviously Brashard Smith 4.39 speed, converted wide receiver that went to running back. So he's got a kind of dual threat ability, and they've been lining him up mostly kind of out wide and stuff like that. So for me, this is not a high price type of guy like Rich, you were talking about, a couple firsts for Jaxson Dart. This is a guy that you could get for, a second, something very kind of low end. And you can, I think you can grab him whether you're a rebuild or whether or not you're looking for maybe some juice down the road here for the kind of long haul. But he's not a guy that's going to probably produce for us coming up now for the next few weeks, but towards the end of the season, I would imagine that's kind of when they're going to start feeling comfortable, start tinkering around a little bit. Rashee Rice is coming back into the fold now, so that'll be a new little wrinkle in time here for the Kansas City offense, and then give that a few weeks, and then maybe they add another wrinkle with a Brashard Smith getting a little bit more action kind of along the way. And as this season progresses, I think he's going to get more and more and more involved, which is just going to drive up the price on a player like this more and more, because you want a piece. Everyone wants a piece of the Kansas City offense. They just don't know which ones to go out and get. Sure. I think Brashard Smith is a nice kind of go out and get him type of guy. Obviously the numbers here, there are a couple of metrics, not a ton, but there's a couple of things where I've seen the routes run and stuff like that, and the participation in that area kind of creeping up the last few weeks. So that also goes into why I think he's going to be a bigger piece of this pie as things go on. So I don't know, where are your guys' thoughts on this whole offense as a whole? You kind of started this conversation, Rich. Where do you guys think this is going? Because they're getting really nothing out of the running game, which is why Mahomes is running so much as of right now.
I thought we'd see more Brashard Smith by now. Even like last week's game, I thought it was kind of weird. He didn't even get a touch until the second half, I believe, when he came in. And then they started utilizing him in the passing game as well. It just I mentioned how Mahomes his rushing output's been triple than what it's normally been, and it's because of no run game. I'm really surprised they haven't moved to Brashard Smith. I don't know if it's more Brashard Smith what's going on. Yeah. My only concern there, I said I don't think I could pay a second for Brashard Smith, because my only concern is like I don't know what they're going to do. I know they already tried to make that offer for Josh Jacobs the year before.
Fairness, that's the highest I would go for a guy like Brashard Smith, and it'd have to be the right kind of situation, right? Like it'd have to be a late second for sure that I'm giving up. If I'm going to rebuild, I'm probably shooting for, hey, I'm going to give you my high third. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a high third, I'd have no problem giving just for the gamble on them. I just feel like for me to go buy Brashard Smith, the upside's there. My biggest, I don't know about you, how you feel, Garrett, about this, but like my biggest concern is like, I feel like the Chiefs are going to identify their need at running back. Pacheco's a free agent. Hunt's a free agent. I think they either attack it in the draft or they attack it in free agency in this offseason.
Unless they find somebody this year, which is,
of course,
you know what I mean?
And that's the shoot, right? That's the high upside for Brashard Smith. But to me, I also look at Brashard Smith as like a developmental running back where I don't know if he'll put together all together this year. In the passing game, for sure, but with the addition of Xavier Worthy's healthy, Rashee Rice is coming back, and we know Rashee Rice dominates in the short area of that, and they have Xavier takes the top off, and you have Travis Kelce, who also does that as well. So where does Brashard Smith necessarily win from a fantasy football output from there? We kind of talked about it in his rookie profile. I do love the upside in that offense. And we kind of talked about that, him being a converted wide receiver, the fact they had Pacheco, they had Kareem Hunt. I'm just worried where like they can make a major move that's going to make it almost like he's still on the roster, but it'd be an obsolete from a fantasy football standpoint. So that curbs my urge to go buy necessarily. I'd be really excited to have my Brashard Smith.
It's more of a hold for you, maybe.
And a third, I'm willing to gamble on any young running back that I feel like there's a chance. And obviously you feel like probably better than I do. I have no problem doing like that. But like, again, for me, I'm already hesitant about buying running backs as it is. Like I'm hesitant to pay certain prices because it's such a here you are today and you're gone tomorrow kind of situation.
Sure.
A third, I have no problem with. Because third round picks to me are just like,
yeah, who cares?
You know,
right?
If it offers me some upside, that's what a third round pick should be, like the highest upside possible.
Would you do a couple of thirds? Because who cares? Also,
if I was a contender, like a legit contender, and my running back room was like a little thin, especially I've already had Pacheco or Hunt on my roster, and like I was real thin at running back, and somebody's like, I want 2/3, and he was the only guy I could probably go get. Maybe. Like
for what it's worth,
the upside,
Kansas City is going to be. They're projected right now to have the least amount of cap space next year, negative 29 million. So that might be more difficult for them to go out and get a guy, but they could also draft a guy.
You know what I
mean?
I assume the draft would be the way they would go. But 2/3, I don't know, man. He's not really on my radar at that point. I understand where you're coming from, but for me personally, like I think I'd pay a third and a fourth and be okay with it.
I like to get out ahead of some of these guys that I think could be sneaky guys down the road. So he's a guy that I think has some upside, and especially in this offense.
Garrett fits that scenario perfectly, right? Like the upside kind of guy. Like, and you're right. Like that could be like, holy cow! Like, why did I pay those 2/3 down? Like week 10 when he's just like they're like, you know what, Hunt, Pacheco, like we gave you your 8 weeks. We're gonna give it to the rookie now.
Yeah, I think I'm somewhere in between you guys because I do have concerns for him as a true running back.
Yeah.
I'm not confident that he's going to ever be their true lead back. However, I think back to when Kansas City's offense was at its very best.
Yeah.
They had really good pass catching running backs, and those pass catching running backs were getting you 12 to, on a regular basis to upwards of 20 points.
I mean, it was Jerick McKinnon most recently.
100%.
Yep.
And he was just catching a bunch of passes and just a bunch of dump offs. And it's just, hey, instead of exposing your quarterback to hits, I can just throw it out to this guy. He can go run for 15, 20 yards, and he's much faster than me. He can get more yards, and then he can take the hit at the end.
And we are seeing him trend in the right direction
Right.
without popping on the scene for everybody. Like when Woody Marks had his one big game, all of a sudden people are wanting first for him, and things like that. Like he hasn't had that opportunity to really pop yet. So now is the right time to go get him. So I'm definitely open to it, but with knowing that they're compared to some other young running backs, there is definitely a ceiling there.
Agreed.
Like there's not hope for him to be the next.
He's not going to
whoever.
get 10 to 15 carries a game.
No.
His ceiling is Jerick McKinnon. Like
Ceiling is Jerick McKinnon, Tariq Cohen.
Coming in there.
Yeah.
He'll get you a running back 1 week here and there, but like a running back 2 from the PPR standpoint.
Yep,
That's a
really
ceiling.
good flex option for you on a regular basis that you feel really good because of how much he's involved in the passing game. He's going to get you double-digit points.
And to be fair to Matt, like the depth I want on my running back outside of my like 2 to 3 stud guys or guys that I feel confident, like the main guys, all my depth at running back those are exact guys I want on my roster. I don't like the Kyle Manung guys are fine. The Ollie Gordons are fine,
But they're going to get you 3 points. You know what I mean? Like unless they score a touchdown.
Unless they get a big roll. Yep.
So I want those guys. Yeah. I want the guy who could turn into like a James White, the Tariq Cohens, the Jared McKinnon's in an offense. I want the pass catching guy, hoping kind of what I thought like after week 1 of what Dylan Sampson could have been for Cleveland. It's disappeared since week 1, but like the guy can come in, he's not the guy, but he's going to get, 5 to 6 touches, but most of those are going to come in passing game. So if I have a guy running back who's going to come in every single week, catch 4 footballs, like the reverse Tyler Algier, essentially.
Sure.
Catch like 3 to 4 footballs, and like you hope he breaks one off, but he's getting you like 7 to 10 points almost every single week, no matter what. Then he scores a touchdown. He's a double-digit guy. Another guy goes down, he gets a little bit more touches. Those are the guys I want in my running back pool because I know they're not going to go out there and, like I said, like there's upside outside of the 3 points of like an Ali Gordon, who's, I mean, honestly, he's going to get you -1 points, but any of those other thumpers out there, essentially.
Sure. All right, well, let's move on to my buy, and maybe this is the guy that ends up being the answer for the Kansas City Chiefs. So I look
so confused.
I know, right? No one has any idea where I'm going with this. I'll explain myself in a second. I will.
He's got a torn pec or something.
Yeah. So
Careful of that TD.
So there's a lot of different ways to go about buys, and I was really trying to identify who's a guy with a really depressed price tag right now that could still have a really high boom.
Leonard Fournette.
Uncle Lenny, how did you know? He's back, baby.
Where are you, Lenny?
No, I am going to go.
He's got to be an offensive lineman by now.
Yeah, he's no longer a tight end.
I think he's a tight ends coach out there somewhere.
So I ended up going surprisingly because this is a guy I've been selling in the past, and I've actually done sell episodes on this guy, but it's all about the price tag. Kenneth Walker.
Okay.
I'm going to go out and I am looking to potentially buy Kenneth Walker.
Good week to do so.
Here's why. There's several reasons, but one, right now, PFF actually has him rated as the #1 running back on the season. And if you watch him play, given his opportunities,
What are they basing that on?
Have they seen Bijan Robinson play?
yeah, I know. Don't get me wrong.
Have they seen Devon Achane play?
Well, Von Achan's good in the receiving game.
He's looked pretty good. He's averaging over 5 yards.
He's done much better in the rushing game. But if you watch Kenneth Walker, yes, it can be maddening at times because he will miss some things, but he will turn plays that are nothing into something special. He also has the 5th highest breakaway rate, so that means he's taking plays and he's turning them into 15+ yard plays. So he has the fifth highest rate of doing that. But he's in a really depressed system right now where he's not even getting 50% of the snaps at the moment.
I would love to see Zach Charbonnet's breakaway numbers.
I will look it up after I'm done talking. I guarantee it is not 5th.
All metric wise, he is not a good running back. I don't understand it.
But here's the biggest thing for me. We've talked. Rich and I have talked about it with Breece Hall, but Kenneth Walker's a free agent after this year. He's not attached to Seattle. And in fact, I think there's a very high likelihood that he goes somewhere else. And think about the free agent class a couple years ago when even some guys that weren't that good, like Miles Sanders, but we also had guys like DeAndre Swift, Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs. All of these guys got legitimate free agent deals as running backs. And part of that was because it wasn't an amazing running back draft class. I don't think it's an amazing running back draft class this year. We had a really good one last year, but there are still, we've already identified the Kansas City Chiefs as one of them, but there are several teams out there that desperately need a good running back. This is the type of player that could get a nice 3-year deal in the right offense that's just plug and play and could instantly have juice to the upside. Is there risk? Absolutely. But I don't see how it possibly gets worse for Kenneth Walker outside of a catastrophic injury. So I think there is only movement to the upside and very, very limited risk in going after a player like Kenneth Walker.
He's only 24 years old, I think, as
Yep,
well.
he's still very young.
Yeah, I mean, when you say it like that, Garrett, I'm a little intrigued. You're right, because I can't imagine.
Real excited.
Yeah, the upside there, because definitely after last week, you probably get Kenneth Walker for like a 1st and 2nd. So if you're like,
I'm looking in the trade finder just a little bit ago, almost exclusively 1st.
just 1st?
Just one 1st.
Yeah, so if I'm a contender coming into a weaker class next year, I give my 26th first for Kenneth Walker, and he's my running back 3 with the upside, again, like the upside that you're preaching of going into the next year where teams will need running back help, whether like maybe it won't be Minnesota because they extended Jordan Mason, but there's tons of teams out there that could use some running back help.
I think Baltimore is going to be in
Houston.
Yeah, Houston.
Cincinnati.
Yep. Like there's plenty of teams that could absolutely use some good running backs. And who knows with, trades and where coaches go and we always have surprises on certain things like that. So, I mean, even Chicago, you look at DeAndre Swift.
That'd be a really good fit.
Is fine, and he played well last night, but they could easily draft somebody, or they could sign somebody in a free agency. And
the Jaguars might be looking for somebody as well. I mean, I think Travis Etienne's in his last year.
Absolutely. So there's a lot of different opportunities there. I think he's one of the guys that value-wise is the most depressed from what we had preseason right now. And I just don't see how it gets much worse. So
where's he at in the standings? Where is he?
I mean, he's got to be on a points per game basis. He's incredibly low.
Yeah, it's got to be pretty.
I can look and see, but yeah, definitely low. So yeah, I'm going out there and
I have no problem with that. I like, you're paying a first for a running back who's 24, who's going to a free agency deal. And you got to imagine it's a win-win situation, right? Because in the offseason, either he goes sign somewhere else where somebody wants him, they pay him, and the early money's gonna be guaranteed, or Seattle resigns him or franchise tags him where the money is guaranteed. A player of his caliber doesn't just fall by the wayside.
He's 41st currently.
Okay, 41st.
Points per game.
So easy sell or easy to sell somebody to get him on, like, oh man, he's not even a running back 3 right now. And
I'm giving you a first and hoping and praying that he comes back and does something.
And you are.
I mean, you are. But I mean, with all that additional information about him being a free agent, I think that makes it feel a little bit better.
Absolutely.
About giving something like that.
And I'm just looking at the teams next year. Like, if Breece Hall walks, there's a good chance, the Jets could need a running back. The Bengals would need a running back. Baltimore's, they just extended Derrick Henry, so he's not going anywhere.
But it's a kind of a Fugazi 2-year deal. He could easily be done after this year.
Okay, Jacksonville.
And he's old. I mean, he's old. He doesn't. He's not doing great. I mean,
Jacksonville,
looking for
Houston, Tennessee, Kansas City, Washington, Dallas.
Tennessee's a really good one, actually. Tennessee.
Yeah, Dallas could use somebody. Chicago.
Shut your mouth when you're talking.
Forever.
Yeah, shut your mouth when you're talking.
He is a free agent, though.
Technically Carolina, New Orleans. Seattle
could use
and in Arizona. So there's a lot of teams that could use Kenneth Walker's services. And what do we know too? When a player like that signs, immediately positive regression in their value as well.
Instantly. So even if you were just doing it and you're like, I don't even believe in Kenneth Walker, I just believe his value is going to go up.
Yeah.
Do it and then trade him after he signs.
Yep. All right. So awesome. All right, before going to our next segment, I got to tell you guys about our friends over at Fast Draft. If you want to turn that Sunday film study into that cash, Fast Draft's where it's at. They get that revolutionary in-season contest. They're built for us Dynasty players. And here's what you got to do in their current contest. Just draft 6 skill position players, no quarterbacks, no kickers, then apply their captain boosters that multiply points up to 2 times. That sleeper rookie we just discovered in our film room, boost him and watch your profits soar when he goes off. Mecca Buka would be a prime example this year of a player. Ooh. Choose between 6 Super Slam or Flex 6 Frenzy tournaments with guaranteed prize pools. First place takes a 30%. That's a $300 profit on a single $5 entry. This is where the Dynasty Nerds and the Nerd Herd dominate, right? While others chase last week's stats, you have our rookie nerd scores, our exclusive film breakdowns, and Dynasty GM insights showing exactly who's about to break and who's about to have success. So use that promo code NERDS and Fast Draft will match your deposit 100% up to $100. But of course, there's more. If you're new to Dynasty Nerds, make that first deposit, play in any contests, and we'll hook you up with a free annual Dynasty Nerds membership to the Nerd Herd. That's a $70 value by itself. You're going to get all our tools, everything we have to offer for a year, absolutely free. We got a big app update coming out in the next
I like that.
couple of weeks. You get access to the film room. We're already talking rookies. We're getting film uploaded as we speak, breaking down our all 22 film room, nerd score, and so much more. And if you're already a member, don't worry, we've got you covered as well. We're going to give you a $25 gift certificate to our merch store. Grab all that gear that you like. So don't watch Sunday without making a little bit of cash over at Fast Draft. Use that promo code NERDS, and let's turn our Dynasty knowledge into dollar signs.
Before we get started on this next segment, Garrett, I do have to say I made an error.
Okay.
Kenneth Walker, points per game basis, 24th. I had a filter on from weeks 4 through 6.
Oh, okay.
So
the
whole
a little
season,
bit higher.
a little bit better. Yep, 24.
But still, I mean, if you've been starting him, you're not thrilled,
right,
with how things have been going overall.
But better than I had portrayed it.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Well, we're going to do a little bit of a stats that matter. And we haven't done one yet this year. So I wanted to dig into some numbers. And the kind of hypothesis that I was going with was, how much does offensive lines matter for fantasy football purposes?
It matters for everything.
Well, that's what we're about to find out.
Yeah,
that's what we're about to find out.
Definitely matters.
So, because I think often we go into our draft season when we're drafting guys, and we do it mostly based on, and not necessarily consciously doing this, but I think we go into it where I'm looking at X player, I'm looking at Y player, I'm looking at what he can do, his movement skills, his blah, 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 his quarterback, his offense.
Sure.
And I think a lot of times it's very easy to overlook how good is this offensive line. So I wanted to look specifically at the running back position. Now, this is overall blocking. This is not necessarily just run or just pass, because part of their success does come with the receiving game for these guys too. It's not just the rushing game that helps these running backs. So this week I went with running backs, and maybe we'll get into overall different positions and different things like that. Look at the quarterback and the wide receivers, but I wanted to start with just the running back position here. So what I did was I took PFF. I took their top rankings from each and every year for offensive line overall, and I looked at how they ranked them, and then I looked at total running back points. So not just these are the points by Jahmyr Gibbs.
Right.
These are the entire offense's points is at the running back position specifically. So that includes David Montgomery, and then if Craig Reynolds hops in or whoever, just how many points did they get from the running back position? Continue.
Does it count like if you're the Ravens, if Lamar Jackson rush?
It does not. It's only running backs.
Okay.
Only running backs. So it took me a while to filter all of this to make sure that I was able to get it down to just the running backs that do it. So not even receivers either. So if Deebo Samuel lines up in the backfield, doesn't matter. It's only from the running back.
So you put a lot of time
position.
into this.
I did.
Well, that's all we have for this week, guys.
We're keeping all this knowledge,
it's
and
funny.
we're going to win all of our games.
It's funny that you bring this up too. Like this is a show topic as well, because I literally got a text this morning from a friend, my friend Alexa, and she said, "Hey, I know how good she's not even a Browns fan; she's a Steelers fan. And she's like, I know how well Mason Graham's playing, but if you can go back in time, would you prefer the Browns to draft Emeka, Buka, and Ted McMillan?" I was like, as hard as that is to say no, I would say no, because if you want to win the NFL, you have to have a good defensive line, you have to have a good offensive line. That's how you win a championship. It all starts there. So I'm excited to talk, because I've always thought without a good offensive line, it doesn't matter how good your running back is, because you're getting hit behind the line of scrimmage, you're going to have way less success.
What about if they drafted Jaxson Dart instead?
Come on, Matt. Don't hurt me like that, baby. I need high five quarterbacks.
Also would be fine.
So let's hear these.
Also
I'm interested to hear these overall finishes that you put all this time into.
So I started back as early as 2021. That was kind of the earliest data that I was able to compile neatly, because some sites were really hard to figure out just the running backs, and other ones they would give you the rushing stats but not the receiving stats for the running back. So the furthest back I was able to go for now and get it done cleanly was back to 21. So this is 4 years of data. So a little bit of a small sample size, but I think it's enough to give us kind of a good feel.
Almost half a decade if you're rounded now.
And look at that. Look at that. All right. So I went through and I calculated the running back ranking as far as the total points scored by that offense, and then how PFF ranked that offensive line.
Okay.
So did some correlation there. And you go back through and you look at this past year, 2024. Detroit had the most total running back points, 619.8, which is pretty absurd because other teams in the top 10 were in the 400s. So they just had an absurd amount of points last year. So, but it makes sense. Good correlation. Their offensive line ranked was 4th. So they had a very, very good offensive line, and that translated. Tampa Bay had the second most points, 3rd best line. Buffalo had the 3rd most points at the running back position. They had the 5th best line. Baltimore, they had the 9th best line. And then the 5th rated team total running back points was Atlanta, and they had the 11th best line. So you see already, like this past year was pretty clear indicator. All these teams in the top 10, except for Atlanta, was at 11.
Yeah.
All of these teams, very, very good offensive lines.
There was 2 of those that popped out. One, the Bills, because I just didn't see them as that much of a running back run heavy team to have that kind of, but I mean, it's
all the touchdowns by James Cook.
Right. It speaks to James Cook's touchdowns probably. And then obviously Atlanta, not being in the top 10, but being ranked number 5. And that obviously speaks to just an all-world type of running back.
Exactly. So overall, I calculated all of it, and for top 5 teams, their average running back ranking, it was actually slightly lower than I thought for their offensive lines, but they averaged at a right around 10. So if you want a top 5 running back position, you're going to want to go after a top 10 offensive line. If you want top 10 running backs, they were at 12.75. So not far off, usually right around 12 or better. However, there were some outliers in here that I removed and recalculated. So I want to make sure everybody knows that. So top 10 running back point scoring teams, they had 12.75 as the average rating for their offensive line. However, there was a guy in here in particular that skewed a lot of this data.
12.75. What do you mean? Like,
That's their
ranking.
average ranking.
okay.
So the average line was ranked around 12.
So
13.
12, yeah.
For the top running
For the
backs.
top 10 running backs,
Top 10 running backs.
their offensive line ranked in the top 13
Got it.
of
So
the league.
they're averaging inside the top 10 for the most part.
Okay.
But there was one guy that skewed that data that made it a lot worse, because outside of this one player, basically, it put it right back to right around 10. So it doesn't matter if it's a top 5 running back team or a top 10 running back team. You're averaging about top 10 running backs.
Who is this beast?
Davante.
Derrick Henry.
Derrick.
Derrick Henry, his offensive line in Tennessee over 2023, they were ranked, they were the number 8 scoring running back offense, ranked 32nd.
Offensive line.
Offensive line ranked 32nd.
Wow.
Number 10 in 2022, ranked 32nd. And in 2021, they were a little bit better. Derrick Henry basically by himself got him to the 7th ranked rushing points offense at running back. They were 16th that year. So average.
Takes a king to conquer the peasants.
So I think this is a little bit more simplistic, and I think it's common sense for the most part, but it's good to see that data backs this up. So if you want to get a top 10 type running back, you need to have a good offensive line.
Unless he's 6'3",
Unless he's a freak.
250 pounds. Okay.
Unless he's a freak. Christian McCaffrey also broke the mold in there.
Yeah.
He had the 21st ranked offense as one of the top teams. But obviously he's Christian McCaffrey. So you need a generational talent type player
Or
to break that mold.
A Bijan.
100%.
Like literally those kind of guys.
For mere mortals.
And on the flip side,
Yeah.
the bottom 5 teams, their average ranking of offensive line, 21.7. So basically 22. So it's very, I think it's very simplistic. It's very cut and dry. And so it's not this like crazy deep dive that I've done on others where it's like, okay, you got to move this and that. It's very simple. Remember in your head, okay, if they're rated as a good offensive line, the odds of my running back being good are significantly higher.
So I would love to see where a guy like a Kenneth Walker, who we think is a good running back, like where his offensive line is.
I can tell you exactly where it is.
Yeah.
So last season,
and where the Raiders at right now too.
so I can look for this season, but I know for 2024, let's see, Seattle was 31st in 2024.
Their offensive line's been bad for a while.
Right. That's why I'm asking. Because I mean, he is dinged for making
28th and 23.
trying to make a bunch of make chicken salad out of chicken shit and basically getting hit by and having a lot of negative plays.
27 in 2022.
But if his
They've been bad for a while.
But if his offensive line is better, he doesn't have to do that. All of a sudden,
Correct.
he becomes this better back.
Looks a lot
and
better.
He looks a lot better. Right.
I mean, here's a good example too. I mean, you literally went from a team that had a terrible offensive line, and you put Saquon on a team with a great offensive line for sure. And
the number 1 offensive line.
Yeah,
Philadelphia
and
Eagles.
he's doing fantasy football disgustiness. You know
right.
what I mean?
That was
he's-
like the perfect storm, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you put an all-world talent like that who's been struggling behind crappy offensive lines. You give him a great offensive line, and it was just everything came together. I mean, to the point where it's like they slanted their whole offense, and now it's all skewed and weird because it's not the same coordinator. It's everything's kind of screwed up. But last year was special.
Yeah, it really comes down to for NFL teams to find success, it really does come down the lines. It's why I never get upset when my team, like the Browns, would draft a defensive line, a guy like Mason Graham, and they trade back and what they get over a guy like Travis Hunter, or when they take an offensive lineman in the first round. Obviously you miss on a guy like Jed Wills, but you need a good tackle, you need a good defensive end. If you want to win the NFL, that's where it all starts. good. The Chiefs, they've been so good. They've, people talk about Matt Holmes. Their defense has been fantastic these last couple of years. A guy like Chris Jones is literally a difference maker. Aaron Donald making the game-winning play for the Rams when they won the Super Bowl. Matt Stafford. So, yeah, it's pretty exciting. And
would you guys like to hear the top 10 offensive lines right now?
Yes,
I would.
Please.
Okay, so top 10 offensive lines right now, according to PFF, and this is overall. Number 1, Denver Broncos.
Yeah, I kind of mentioned that when I was talking about the R.J. Harvey type, had the number 1 run blocking team in the NFL.
Number 2, not a surprise with how he's playing, Indianapolis Colts.
Oof, yeah.
3, Buffalo Bills. 4, Philadelphia Eagles. 5, this is the surprising one of this group, Kansas City Chiefs, which tells me that it's the players, because you get somebody good back there, it could be filthy.
A la Kenneth Walker.
San Francisco is at 6. Arizona is at 7. LA Rams 8. Jacksonville 9, which explains a lot with ETN.
Yeah, ETN's having a good year.
And Detroit Lions at 10.
And even the Arizona one, like Arizona has produced some really good Russian. I know it's been James Conner, but like James Conner is not like a game changer, but he's been a very good fantasy football asset. Yes. Kind of what we got a bit excited about, like Trey Benson. Like, man, this has been a really good Russian fantasy football team. Correlates back to the Arizona offensive line. So,
and if you want some hope, number 11, New England Patriots. Hope for Travion Henderson.
Okay, yeah, they started
team that was
football.
32 last year, now all the way up to 11.
Yeah, so it's just another good metric to kind of keep in mind when you're drafting players, and obviously that changes every single year. Right?
It does.
Free agents,
just pay attention to it.
Some people fall off, people get hurt. Offensive linemen go down consistently.
One last question before we get out of here: how accurate were the preseason rankings? Because that's that's you know what I mean. That's where when we're drafting all that kind of stuff compared to what is actually happening. Because I mean, obviously, if PFF's nailing it, that becomes a really useful tool. Yeah,
because the Giants' offensive line's been playing pretty well. Now it's an offensive line you did not think was to be that great, who's not been good for a while. And I think, did they just get Andrew Thomas back? Was that the thing too?
Yeah, they did. That was a big part of it. That was a big
part of it as well. I knew that coming into that, he's going to be a big help. So another thing, I didn't go, Giants' offensive line's been terrible, but they're playing pretty well. They do have a part in Jaxson Dart and Cam Scadaboo's success.
Absolutely. Okay, so here's 2024. Here's their preseason. Detroit Lions. Jahmyr Gibbs, number 1 running back. Philadelphia Eagles, number 2. Indianapolis Colts, number 3. Cleveland Browns, number 4, but obviously weird situation. Nick Chubb.
Decimated with injuries.
Number 5, this one really plummeted over the course of the season, although he still had a decent season. New York Jets, that one got real weird.
Yeah.
Atlanta Falcons at 6, Kansas City 7, Buffalo Bills at 8, Pittsburgh Steelers at 9, Dallas Cowboys at 10.
It's not terrible.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So tomorrow we're going to talk some sells, see who we like to get out of there. And we mentioned the fast draft, mid-season, you don't know your team. You got to get the Dynasty GM, get in your app store, check it out. It's literally built for moments like this. So we have a big update coming in, a lot of pretty upgrades onto it. We have a data hub coming there as well. So you want to get the app. You want to make the right decisions this time of year. Outside of the podcast, you need the right tools. The Dynasty GM is just for that. All you got to do is make it. If you don't, so if we encourage everybody to go fast draft, make a deposit, you get it for free. It's not available in every state. Despite that, for the price of a cup of coffee a day, you can still get all the tools at your hands, or at your fingertips, that dominate your Dynasty leagues. That's what Dynasty GM does. Just that. So make sure you check out that app. Give it a whirl. For a price of a cup of coffee, you can try it out for a month, and you'll find out I'm just going to get the full year bundle. So we'll be back tomorrow with some sales. I did have one more buy. I just want to say before,
throw it out there,
just real quick. Before I went full Jaxson Dart, I do think Arande Gadsden for the
I like that one too.
The Chargers.
Getting more targets.
He was on my list. Yeah, he ran. Last week, he had 7 catches for 68 yards. I think he had one less than Ladd McConkey. His route participation is really high. Had a really good preseason. Somebody kind of talked up a little bit there. Seems like get a little bit more involved. Keenan Allen's kind of taking a step back, looking a little bit more washed at 33 years old. So I just want to mention his name. He was my initial go as my buy, but I couldn't get over on Jaxson Dart. I want to find a deeper guy, but Jaxson Dart,
he's the love.
He high-fived the ref, and that was it for me. So we'll be back tomorrow with more Dynasty Fantasy Football.
Adios.